welcome to the final episode of this season of Ewing Yum Yums. Today we have a very special episode with a very special guest, my mom, Gail.
Hi, I'm Gail, Cassie's mom.
And today we're going to be making a very classic breakfast in our household, which is French toast, and we have a special topping
of strawberries, which will totally take this over the top.
And I'll go grab the strawberries because we got to get started because that takes the longest. So the first thing you're going to want to do is start cutting the strawberries. You're just going to want to take off the tops and then slice them. Put them in the bowl, and then when that's done, you can combine it with sugar, which I'll do in a few minutes.
We live near Lee's Turkey Farm, and we pick huge trays of strawberries, so we needed something to do with all those strawberries, and I had a cooking book for how to cook with kids, and that had a strawberry shortcake recipe, so it showed you how you could make a nice strawberry topping for things. So I use that for other things too.
So this is probably good for now. The bowl is quite full, to be honest.
You could get a quart of strawberries to about a half a cup of sugar.
Then you just mix it up.
A bigger bowl would be better too. So if you have a bigger bowl,
yeah,
we're stirring this up. Why we're doing this is because the strawberries will make their own juices, and the sugar just helps sweeten it up. That's good.
Some fantastic stirring.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive.
Okay.
And I will put this in the fridge.
Yes, put it in the fridge.
For about a half hour.
You're going to want to start action on the French toast now, and the first thing you're going to want to do with that is cut the bread. And the bread we use is challah. We've only ever used challah. I was never allowed to cut the bread, so I'm going to leave this to you, Mother. Probably good after that slice. Now that you have your bread all sliced, what you're going to want to do is set all of this to the side. The next thing you want to do is get started on the batter. And the first thing you're going to want to do is crack your eggs. And how many eggs do you use for a recipe?
I started off using 1 egg for 2 slices of challah, but I wound up seeing that I think we needed it more eggy because it would be too watery, the batter. So I wound up kind of doing that as my starting point, but then, add another egg for maybe every 2 extra. So now we're going to do 3 eggs for 4 slices of bread today. So I usually stir it. You're too delicate. You have to beat the eggs, beat them hard so that they're in submission.
So we have almond milk in this cup. You can use a regular milk if you want, but we like almond milk in this household. How much do we add? Because I have about a quarter of a cup in here.
Do not add a quarter of a cup to 3 eggs. That will be too watery.
Big mistake.
As I said before, I go like this and I see how thick it looks.
So I'm going to start
This
pouring.
is all pure egg, so you pour a little bit. That's enough probably. Still pretty nice and eggy, maybe a teeny bit more. That's it. Okay. As you can see, we're pretty loose with this. Not a lot of measuring involved.
We have cinnamon and vanilla. Which one do we add first?
It doesn't matter.
We're going to add vanilla.
Let's go.
I just would splash it.
But again, we're usually making much
that's
bigger
true.
batches, so we don't need as much. That's pretty good.
And then the next thing we're going to add is cinnamon. And how much cinnamon do we add?
Well, it's easy. You just kind of go like this. Again, for me, there's rarely too much cinnamon, although I did it once. And actually, it was kind of dusty tasting when it was done, but rarely is there ever too much cinnamon because I love cinnamon. Okay, then we can put more in.
Put more?
Oh, absolutely. French toast to me is meant to be loose.
You can't mess it up that much.
Yeah, no. If it's thinner, if it's thicker, if there's less cinnamon, more cinnamon, a little less vanilla, a little more vanilla. It really is yummy no matter what.
Quickly, before you bring over the bread and start dipping, you're going to want to heat up your pan. So we're going to do that right now.
Okay, so I already preheated the pan to a medium-high heat, not too high, and now I'm going to put some butter in the pan to warm up.
Now that you have the pan preheating and you have your butter melting, you're going to want to dip the challah in the egg mixture and then leave it to the side on the plate. It's a lot of cinnamon on top.
That's a lot of cinnamon. Okay, maybe we'll wash a little bit off
Yeah.
so there's not quite so much. And you want to be like a sponge, kind of press it a little bit so it soaks up even more eggy goodness. And then you can let it drip. This is why it's helpful to have more than one person.
Yeah.
One lets a slice drip over the bowl.
If you have leftover batter, probably just put in the fridge and save it for when you have more bread for a few days.
I don't know if I would save that a few days.
Oh, I got rejected.
You're a little sketchy with your timetables of when you eat food and how long you leave it in the fridge.
So you have your dipped French toast here, and the next thing you're going to want to do is put it on the pan, which we'll go do right now. Start to put the French toast in the pan. Put as many pieces of bread as you can that fit in your pan. And you wait till it gets a little brown on the bottom, which takes about
3 minutes. So it's time to flip. You'll see that lovely color when I flip. There we go. We're ready for like another 2-3 minutes. I think the French toast is done because you can see it is nice and brown on that side too. Ooh la la, the French toast comes over here and it goes right onto your plate, ready to be eaten.
So now that you have the French toast all browned on both sides, you're going to want to add the toppings, and the first one we're going to add is the strawberries from the fridge earlier, and you're going to want to give them, you know, a little mix. Just to make sure
all the sugar is dissolved.
I'm just gonna throw some strawberries on. And you know, 4 pieces of French toast might be too much for one mother. So you can add your own amounts of whatever you know your mother's gonna eat. Okay. So that's pretty good. It's rustic looking, but it's fine. Next thing you're gonna do is take your powdered sugar to make it extra festive. And this is kind of a 2-person job. I'm just going to use a sifter, and that's probably good, and just gently tap it against your hand for like a light powdery dusting. Now the one thing is that it tends to melt into liquids, so if you poured a lot of strawberry juice, it will very quickly disappear. But it's really the thought that counts.
So put it on right before you bring it over to her.
Yeah. And so this is the final product, which I think any mom would be excited about. This Mother's Day, treat your mom to some wonderful mother-approved French toast.
I am a mom and I approve highly of this recipe, and this is my favorite chef. Let's eat.